Hello, I'm Toycat, and Minecraft has of course been around for a very long time now. Over 10 years in fact. They've added so many weird features to the game, like the creeper and like the wither, which have become classics and which have become revered to this day, but they've also added many features to the game they later decided to remove for various different reasons. While normal features are interesting and so are removed features, here's an interesting third category of features that have been designed and implemented, but are still unavailable to the standard Minecraft player. These are features I wanted to talk about because they represent a potential future of Minecraft while also looking back into its past. So let's talk about 7 of Minecraft's huge unused features from the past because they still exist in the game today, like the quiver, for example, because the quiver is such a weird example of a feature that was only really added by coincidence, because Notch worked on a previous RPG called The Legend of the Chambered, and one of the things he made for that game was a quiver item texture. So he took the quiver item texture, put it into Minecraft, and then never did anything with it really. Presumably there was going to be a use for the quiver because arrows exist in Minecraft, but they never really were used until Java Edition 1.9, where during the snapshots for the combat update, one of the cool combat changes was going to be finally adding the quiver. However, again, eventually it was just decided, like, why do we need this quiver slot? It doesn't really make too much sense, and instead the offhand kind of became the quiver instead. So despite Minecraft kind of fitting in the genre of fantasy games that, would make sense with a quiver and which could have used a quiver, every single time, the quiver has had a chance to come up, when arrows were first added, when the texture was first added, and indeed in the combat update where the entire bow and arrow system was updated, and even more recently with the crossbow, which could have done the exact same thing. Every single one of these times, it was just kind of concluded that it didn't really fit Minecraft quite so well, and that's the tragic story of the quiver. It might be a realistic thing, it might be a thing other games use, but it's not something that's ever made its way into Minecraft, which is tragic on one layer, but it's also really interesting because it means they're only going to add the feature if it ever does make sense. Who knows, that day could be in the future, but speaking of things that could be seen in the future of Minecraft, let's talk about something really weird, because unlike the quiver, which has been in the Java textures for literally 10 years now, let's talk about the most recent thing on this list, because lava cauldrons were added to Minecraft Bedrock just this year, in fact, as a village and pillage feature. And you might be thinking, lava cauldrons, village and pillage, what's the link there? And the answer is there is no link there. They were just added one week, and it was presumably going to be a part of the village update, but for whatever reason, the link never came. And in fact, even the Java edition has yet to use the lava cauldrons, so there is just a feature where you can have a cauldron, fill it with lava, and it doesn't have any real uses. And you might say, wait a minute, so that's in the game? And yes, the lava cauldron itself is in the game, but something that is not available to standard survival players or even creative players is the ability to take lava out of the cauldron in small increments. Because of course, when you have a water-filled cauldron, you can have a slightly filled cauldron, a medium-filled cauldron, or all the way to the top. The way lava works is it only goes all the way to the top, but yet in the game files, and if you use the fill command, you actually can see how there is a 1/5 filled cauldron and a 2/5 filled cauldron, etc, etc. All of the different filled stages exist, but there's no way to activate them. And yeah, this is one of those most recent ones where it's like, they must be planning something soon, right? Or maybe they just planned something and now too many people use lava cauldrons because they're technically a light source by themselves. But the truth is, there is a Bedrock exclusive which isn't really meant to be a Bedrock exclusive, which doesn't really do anything, and which has these unused features as part of it, which is a big mystery to everyone. My personal theory on this one, because it's fun to just say like, so there are lava cauldrons that don't do anything and also have secret forms that aren't accessible. My personal theory is that there's some planned form of combat update coming, because we know there is combat update snapshots, and we also know that there's a blacksmithing table and a fletching table which don't really have uses right now, but yet both of those features exist in the game, and their update is coming at some point soon. It's confirmed not to be 1.16 now, but who knows, 1.17 could add that. So we know there's blacksmithing and fletching. Maybe it makes sense that fire can be used in potions, or more accurately, lava can be used in potions to make some more aggressive combat style potions. Who knows for sure though, because it is an unused feature which could go nowhere. This could eventually be removed, this could sit in the game forever with no exact purpose, or it could become a key part of the future updates, and that's why these features are so fascinating, which is why we're going to talk about another one, because it's hard not to be fascinated by the blindness effect. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to see it, except you can't be blind because the feature doesn't exist in standard Minecraft, although servers have found ways to activate it, and you can of course, again, maps and blah blah blah, but in the default Minecraft game itself, there is an effect which is not found via any natural means, and that is the blindness effect. So you can see on screen exactly what it looks like right now. You basically minimize the distance that you can see, and it's something that every Minecraft version, even the console ones where there's no technical ways you're meant to be able to access it, except for mods, which we've of course done, but it's basically a way to minimize your view distance, and I think it's a really interesting effect because you can use it for so many different maps. Like, oh yeah, things are scary when you're blind. Fun fact, blindness is one of my biggest fears. Fun fact, blindness should be one of your biggest fears, because you know what? Vision is one of the greatest things about the world, and you know how you're seeing this video right now? That's only possible because you're not blind, which is why, yeah, having a blindness effect in Minecraft could be really scary, but that could be used in a lot of great ways. I think it could be used for different traps. It could be used as part of PvP even, because if someone's blind, they can't see which direction you ran away from them necessarily. I think there are so many fun effects we could use blindness for, and I think it's a shame that it's never really made its actual way into the game. It's one of these great examples of a feature where we don't know if they're waiting on it, we don't know if they're happy with the current situation, where they don't intend to ever use it, but they, you know, are okay with servers using it. It's one of those things where you have to sit tight and wait to see what happens, just like the next thing here, because, you know, we're talking about effects. Effects usually come from potions, right? That's a thing that you might be aware of. So there's been a lot of removed potions from Minecraft, or a lot of unused potions in the game clothes. I'll show you the 29 of them right now, which I thought were really interesting, like clear potions, diffuse potions, artless potion. Would that make you less artistic? When you put paintings up, will they all look terrible? I don't know for sure. There's a bunch of potions with really vague, really generic, I guess, lame effects to be simple. And here are the data values for them all too. But the thing is looking at these potions, you can't really see anything that's too interesting, right? It doesn't sound like it's going to add too much gameplay value, but something that sounds like it really would is the luck potion. So the luck potion does exist in Minecraft right now in creative, and it does technically have a use in that it increases your fishing loot draws by such a minute amount that you probably wouldn't even notice it. And let's be honest, if you're fishing in creative, why do you need that tiny boost to your loot? Just give yourself the stuff if you want it that badly. So yeah, there is a potion in the game which really affects some part of the game which you never really need to care about, but which has a really cool effect, and which has, in my opinion, a very logical thing to brew it with, because although the rabbit foot is used currently for the leaping potion, the rabbit foot is a famously lucky item, right? There is a, you know, we could have two different ways to brew two different potions. It would be cool to make a potion of luck using the rabbit foot. I mean, maybe it would promote animal cruelty, and that's one of the, you know, that's one of the things they've been trying to stop with Minecraft, like ever since they accidentally gave advice that the way you breed parrots is to feed them cookies, and that apparently actually kills them because birds and chocolate, something like that. And, you know, there's been a lot of things like that where they've been trying to discourage behaviors which might look bad for Minecraft. So maybe killing rabbits so you can get a rabbit foot, and using that to get luck potions to do very good things. Maybe sending them the message that you should kill rabbit for their feet. You know, maybe that's a questionable one, but I think the idea of a luck potion actually being used for luck would be a really, really beneficial thing to the game. And I think it's a great shame that we have this wonderful potion in the game which is used for some weird niche purpose that no one needs, and is even then only available in creative. Great shame in my opinion that I hope we see fixed, and that is something we'll see in the near or never future. That's the wonderful thing about this list. Who knows if they're going anywhere? Are these the ramblings of a madman, or in 5 years will they all be properly implemented features in the game? If so, I really hope the magic dude from 1.9 makes it into the game. That's literally what I call him, the magic dude from 1.9. If you want his actual title, because you think this is a formal video and you think I'm meant to tell you actual words and information, it's called the Illusioner, and it is technically exclusive to the Java edition, so the reverse of the lava cauldrons from earlier, and it was added as 1.12. It was going to be a brand new form of illager that maybe you found in Woodland Mansions, maybe you could find in the illager raids. There were loads of different ideas that could have been used for it, but it never really made their way into any of them. Despite that, however, there's been lots of updates to them. They added new sound effects, they gave them the range attacks as well as the magic attacks, they've given it a brand new texture even, so it looks entirely different when it was first added. The Illusioner is a really fun idea for a mob, but yet in spite of it being such a fun idea, you know, magic and ranged attacks combined, one of the most brutal forms of illager which can attack you from serious distances, unlike the witch, so it's kind of like a long distance witch to, you know, kind of round out the illager's skill set, because that's a big part of the Minecraft theme now, right? Villagers and illagers, there's an eternal war being fought between them. It's really weird that this feature never made its way into the game, and the exact theory as to why, the simplest one is that Jeb, especially right now, has been focusing on making Minecraft more realistic, not less, because, you know, there are many features in Minecraft, especially during the daytime, which are just real world features. The whole point of Minecraft is that daytime equals pretty normal Minecraft world, and then nighttime is where things get twisted and weird with the giant spiders, the creepers, the endermen, you know, the phantoms, all of these other kind of nightmare things come out at night, because there is this duality of Minecraft. There is the perfectly normal day and the kind of weird night, but the thing is, Jeb mostly seems to focus on the daytime features, again, in large majority. Maybe that's because those are the part of the games that, you know, most people play in terms of videos and in terms of actually sharing the game and talking about it. Maybe it's because that makes the game more accessible to a younger audience. Who knows which of those things it is, but for some reason, the Illusioner, despite being fully programmed and put in there, was never added to the actual update in a playable form, and I think that's a great shame, because again, the The Illusioner would be such a great round out to a Pillager raid, to anything else like that really, and that is quite, it's a big shame in my opinion. So next up, let's talk about a feature which everyone loves to talk about. It's the rubies. So yeah, rubies are a texture in the game. They are replaced by emeralds. The only reason rubies weren't the currency of Minecraft is because Dinnerbone, one of the main devs at the time, is colorblind. It's really simple. They're never going to be added. Maybe one day a different version of a different form of ruby might be added, but rubies as they exist right now, it's just red emeralds. Don't think about them. When someone brings up rubies and goes, oh, this would be so cool, wouldn't it? Tell them no, they're wrong, they're stupid, they're bad, and their ideas are bad, and they should feel definitely bad. So finally, to round out our 7 unused features, because we need to have the same number of items in this video as we have, you know, continents on Earth, or as Voldemort had Horcruxes, I guess. So let's talk about cave air, because did you know, as part of the update Aquatic, where they had to update the entire way water worked, they also had to update the entire way that air worked, because obviously water could take the place of air. It's a whole weird thing, and one of the parts of that they decided to add was cave air. Cave air was an air that could exist in caves, and it's really interesting because this could have been the great foundation for an update to caves. I don't know what you'd call that. I mean, off the top of my head right now, I'll call it like a, you know, tentative cave update, let's say. So, you know, they could have like an update to caves perhaps, and they could use cave air as part of that. Perhaps the cave air could have different, you know, values, and perhaps this could be the signal of a much greater cave update. Isn't it a shame that despite adding a great feature to caves, they didn't update caves all the way? I think this shows why this list is full of features that need to be added to the game, and I also think this is why this shows, along with the 15,000 people who have now voted for a cave update on feedback.minecraft.net, this shows why we need a cave up to the game that also includes illusioners, that also includes the blindness effect. And you know what? Also, tell us about lava cauldrons, Mojang. Are they something to do with caves? I don't really know. All I do know though is that I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope Mojang adds a cave up to the game, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you do, then that's all I ask for today. You know what? Yeah, instead of subscribing, have a good day. Seize the day. I mean, humans only have so many days in their lives, right? Something like 24,000. Do you want to waste a day? Do you want to waste one of your very few precious days on this earth? Or do you want to go and do something you've never done before? I want you to do that second one, and that's why I'll leave you now and let you do that. Goodbye.